Okay, so what we're going to do now is build the finger rig. Now, we're going to have to do this in two stages. The first stage is where you're going to see the simplified version of this concept, meaning that you'll be able to rotate these fingers individually. Then we will look at the advanced version where we can simply create a single bone and change its scale, and when the scale changes, these fingers will curl automatically. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. Go ahead, switch to edit mode and just press the A key to select everything and A key to deselect, and go ahead and zoom out to make sure that no bone is selected over here. So what we want to do is create touch bones for the fingers. So of course this means that we're going to have to select all these finger bones over here. And here we're just going to do Shift D to duplicate, right click to cancel, press the 1 key, press the Control key down, click on this blue arrow and just bring it up quite a bit over here. It'll just make it easier to select it with the lasso tool. And what we want to do is do the middle mouse button and just rotate the view just like this again. So these are on the left side and these bones are on the right side. So here we're going to simply first switch to pose mode and click on this bone, press the shift key down, click on this one, and of course just do shift control C and do copy transforms on all of these finger bones. Okay, so that's done. Now press the 1 key. Go ahead and press the A key to deselect everything and go ahead and switch to edit mode over here. Now what we want to do is go ahead and press the Control key down and use the lasso tool to select these bones. Now sometimes what happens is that Blender ends up selecting the tails or heads of certain bones when you're using the lasso tool. So you might encounter that, so it's a good idea to always zoom out to make sure that it didn't do that. Now here we're just going to press the M key and of course send these to the touch bone layer. Press the shift key down and click over here. And what we want to do now is basically put these back. So I'm just going to make sure that nothing else is selected because I know that does happen sometimes. So here just press the Control key down, click on this blue arrow and just move everything down. Now of course do the middle mouse button. I'm just going to press the period key to home on this. Do the middle mouse button to make sure that you did put them down back in the correct position. So now what we're going to do is go ahead and go to this touch bone layer and press the S7 key. Now here what we have to do is actually go through the process and name these bones. Now a quick way to do this is to simply click on one of these bones over here, and here I'm just going to remove the M first, and here make sure this is F, and this over here I'm just going to type in touch dot O3L and just going to remove this whole thing and enter. Now just hover your mouse, do Control C, click over here, click inside, do Control V and just change this to 2 and enter. So you're going to have to do this for all the bones in this same process. Okay, so here I'm just showing you how to do this on this finger over here. Okay, so here we've named all the bounds. So what you want to do is go ahead and now switch to pose mode and go ahead and bring this into view. Now here, what I want you to see is that we're going to have to decide how to work with these rotations over here when it comes to these touch bounds. So here what I want you to do is go ahead and click this and switch this to gimbal, right? So now if you study your own fingers, you'll see that really in this area over here, we should be able to rotate on the x-axis and around the z. Okay, so meaning that like a turret. We're not interested in the y. So here what we're going to do is switch this to XYZ Euler, right? Because this would be, of course, a good candidate because the x-axis is the dominant axis. So here what we're going to do is lock the y-axis, right? So if you press the R key 2 times, you'll see that we're not going to let the user twist this bone around the y. Now, of course, this is all optional. You have to think for yourself as to what is the right thing to do here. Now, for these bones, I am not able to actually rotate on my fingers this bone around the Z, right? So in this case, here what we're going to do is choose this XYZ Euler and just lock these two up, right? Because if you press the R key, that's really all we can do, right? So again, none of these ideas are set in stone. Here I'm just showing you how to think about this stuff. So here, this is pretty straightforward. So now once you figure out one thing, you know that this is how this is going to be. And of course, just press the R key 2 times to always test out your theories over here, right? So this is the only way this should be done. So here, once we figure this out, let's go ahead and click on these and just do the same thing. I'm going to do XYZ Euler. I'm going to let the Y click on this XYZ and just let them rotate on the X. Click over here, XYZ. This one again, I'm just going to lock. And of course, any of these concepts can be changed later. Nothing is set in stone over here, so we're going to lock the Y over here. Click on this. Here, I'm just going to let them rotate on the X. Again, do the same thing. Click over here. Here, we're going to say that, okay, let's lock the Y. Click over here. XYZ. Click over here and look at this. Okay, now of course just take the time to test out this concept to make sure that you like the way this is working. Okay, this is how I'm going to set this up. Okay, so this whole thing is actually set up. So press the 7 key and let's go ahead and put this over here. And what we're going to do is go under File, do Save As, and let's save this as Rigging Lesson 04 s.blend. Okay, so I'll see you in the next lesson. Thank you.